social media and the church is changing. Maybe it's even changed all the way. With Gen Z and Gen Alpha using their phones greater than any other screen-based device combined, churches are adapting. And they should. That's not a bad thing. They're looking for ways to reach the next generation. And I see all kinds of programs out there offering for you as a youth pastor or church leader done for you social media resources. Heck, I even have one. But what I think is the difference and what I think is really important is that mine is custom. Mine puts you in front of your students, puts you on camera, and allows you to be the face and the voice, and not just a bunch of static, standard, and irrelevant graphics. Because I think a lot of times we allow our social media to just be an additional announcement portal. It's an extension of our website, or it's almost like an email newsletter. Hey, don't forget about this, don't forget about that. But it is changing. All of that is changing because we are in this digital moment. Because here's the thing, you can now reach teenagers and the students that God has already entrusted and placed in your church or in your ministry with the message of hope, of the gospel of Jesus, and to help them understand and come to a full, robust relationship with Him. And so the way you might be asking in which social media is changing, social media has switched from event-based or post-based or who you're following algorithm to discovery-based algorithm, ushered in by TikTok during the pandemic. With short-form, vertical-based video, the algorithm has switched into one that is focused on discoverability. And so in this 3-part video, I'm going to walk through not only the strategy that you should have for your church social media, but in addition to that, the viral short-form video framework for Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, and finally, editing, which is often the hardest part. So make sure that you stick around to the end of the video because I have an editing solution that can take this and take your entire strategy and make it happen in one click. Too good to be true? Let's find out. Well, hey everyone, my name is Nick Clayson. I am the host of the Hybrid Ministries show, located as a youth pastor in Dallas-Fort Worth, the DFW area, but I have been in youth ministry across 5 different locations, primarily in the Midwest, now here in the South, for over 12 years, going on 13 years here soon, and I'm on a mission to help churches embrace digital, not as a replacement for the in-person moment, but to realize that digital and hybrid ministry is a relevant and real option to help reach students and also help disciple the students that God has entrusted into your care. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, I have a resource, 40 free done-for-you resources. And I want to have you check that out because it is a turnkey PDF ebook that you can just take and turn and start to implement. It has ideas and resources and video options that you can recycle week in and week out, whether you have a full team of student staff or whether you are a volunteer youth worker and you want to pull in some other volunteers or some students to help you accomplish this mission. And guess what? The good news is almost all of it can be done completely on your phone. Click the link down in the show notes to grab your copy of it. And hey, I also want to let you know that as we're about to dive into this video, likes are free and subscribes are even less of a barrier to entry. And both of those things will be incredibly helpful, not only to me, I really do appreciate it, but also to help us get this message out there to others who need to hear it and who are also in the trenches, just like you and just like me, trying to fight through and figure out this digital media stuff together. All right, so social media strategy. My social media strategy is to film your messages ahead of time. Now, what do I mean by that? So if you're anything like me, you get a curriculum or you plan out your messages, and every single Wednesday night or maybe Sunday night or maybe even Sunday morning as well, you are teaching some sort of content. Now, in my context, we meet 2 times a week. We meet Wednesday nights and then we meet Sunday morning for group-based discussion. And so on Wednesday night, we introduce the topic, and that's where we have our more traditional kind of message type of thing. And then on Sunday morning, we dive a little bit deeper into that concept and that content, and that's where the students discuss it in a small group, connect group type of format. So the Wednesday night message is the quote unquote main and primary message for the week. And so what we do is we deliver that message live and in the room. Now, COVID had all of us doing some sort of digital or hybrid version. Most churches in America were able to upgrade their live stream capabilities. They have a better board. They have good cameras in the back of the room now to be able to capture their pastor's sermons. And if that upgrade happened in your context, then what I want to recommend is that you capture your messages right then and there, if it is good enough. Now, if you're like me, and I'm at a pretty big church, but even still, our student space does not have the tools that it takes to capture a video live, not for even like live stream purposes, but even just capture the teaching concept. So what we've decided to do as a team is to sit down, very similar to what I'm doing right now on this video, and look direct to camera and deliver the message. We use a teleprompter. We've built out a full studio. One day I'm going to share that all with you, how we do all of that. But essentially, script out our message, deliver it direct to camera, and then we edit it and post it to YouTube. Now you might be thinking, I don't have any editing abilities. No problem. We have a complete crash course playlist, Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Photoshop, to help you get you up to speed on that if that's something that you're interested in. Or just simply capture it and do some minimal and basic editing in something like iMovie or CapCut or Windows Movie Maker that you already have installed on your device. Or pass it off to a student who likes doing this because they're good at it as well. But so that's my recommended strategy. Okay. In addition, there's all kinds of other like social media type stuff, but the bedrock, the framework, the thing that you can kind of derive all of your other social media content off of is your weekly message. Now, if in your context you deliver 2 teachings or you have multiple different teaching type of settings, just pick the one that's your most basic sort of student ministry sermon, so to speak, and maybe consider finding a way to tie your different environments together so that you're not like in one curriculum on Wednesday and one curriculum on Sunday. Odds are, even if you are in that sort of setting, one is a little bit more deep and one is a little bit more for your wider audience. So I would say pick your wider audience one. You can post that on YouTube, and you can even start to like explore and get a little bit better at keyword, SEO, search, all those types of things. And that's going to help you get that message of hope out to the people that are on YouTube watching and looking for messages. So with that strategy in mind, and again, I detail and outline all of this in my ebook. If you want to know what I do for our social strategy, which does include direct to camera messages, you can grab that link in the show notes, like I said. But I also want to let you know this is that the other advantage of pre-delivering it is that by the time I actually get to the moment where I'm going to deliver the message live in the room, everything's done. Graphics for it are done. I've already prepped and practiced for it. And so to get up there and deliver it is a breeze at that point. Prior to that, putting all the work in, writing it, fully transcribing it so that I can put it on teleprompter and read it when it's going in front of me, that's a lot of extra work. But by the time I'm ready to deliver it, I am done. So it helps you even get a little bit ahead in your student ministry rhythm. And it also helps give you something really, really beneficial and useful for social media based content. Now, here's the other thing you might be thinking, like, isn't a YouTube video, like, isn't it supposed to be a little bit shorter? Yeah, YouTube videos work best between 10 and 15 minutes, or right in that range. There's all kinds of different data and analytics that people have gone into to sort of like parse that out. But just take my word for it, 10 to 15 minutes. And in the room, we teach longer. We're like 20, 25 minutes or so. We include some more elements where they like kind of turn and talk. And, maybe when I do a turn and talk type of moment live in the room, when I'm doing on YouTube, I'll say something like, hey, comment down in the section below. So I'm tweaking it and optimizing it to be for social, to be for YouTube, right? So I'm using things like in this video series as opposed to in this teaching series, right? So I'm tweaking and adjusting my language and even my approach just ever so slightly to be optimized for an online audience. However, I'm still delivering the same biblical content, the same outline, and the same message and motive, sort of like from Scripture. And so that's going to help you if you are willing to adopt that, if you're willing to put the work in, and I recommend that you do. And listen, maybe you're like, hey, I don't have the time. I really don't think I can get to it. What if you tried it for just one series? See what one series did. And it's gonna take some time. I know you're gonna have to look ahead on your calendar and budget for it, but if you do, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the benefits that it's not only gonna give you, but that it's also gonna add to your hybrid experience. But let's move on and let's talk about what we do after we pre-film our messages. So after we pre-film our messages, now we're going to clip those messages up into small, short form Reels, TikTok, Shorts content. Now you might be thinking, I'm not on any of those platforms. Odds are you are on Instagram. And if you're on Instagram, yes, Instagram has the feed, but they also have stories across the top. And then over to the right of the search bar at the bottom, or the action at the search bar, but like the add content button, is the Reels section. And Reels are huge on Instagram right now. In fact, the CEO of Instagram said we are no longer just a photo sharing app. Short form vertical based video is king on social media. So whether you don't, even if you don't have an active TikTok account or a TikTok account at all, you can post directly to Reels. And maybe you don't have a YouTube account set up yet. If you're going to pre-film your messages, I recommend that you post those to YouTube. And YouTube also now has a functionality with short form vertical based video called Shorts. And so you can post Shorts and Reels, and you can duplicate that strategy and have enough content for both of those things, posting identical content on both of those platforms. And if you do have a TikTok, great, boom, just add that in as well, and post to TikTok, post to Instagram, post to Shorts. And hey, even if you want to cater to the old people, post on Facebook as well. And you can do all four of those by using the exact same piece of content. Again, I outlined that in my 40 done for you resources. But that being said, the bedrock of that foundation is going to be your teaching strategies. So I post 3 teaching videos per week. You can make it 5, you can make it 8. I'm going to tell you how you're going to be able to do that here in just a minute. But you can do a few reels from your teaching content, depending on how many you do, depending on your flow, your outline, or whatever, and then just fill in the gaps with some other things. So you can do Wednesday night, Sunday morning recaps by just getting like 2 to 5 second videos, stitching them together using the auto cut feature directly in TikTok, using CapCut. You can do an Instagram, you can do in YouTube, whatever the editor of your choice is. If you haven't started exploring them, open them up, give them a shot. Add some music to it, and boom, you're done. And then once you post it in one of those, simply search for a TikTok downloader without watermark on your browser. Paste the link in there, download it, go post it to Instagram Reels, go post it to YouTube Shorts. If you did it in Instagram, search for a Reels downloader without watermark. If you did it in Shorts, search for a Shorts downloader without watermark, and then post it in the other 2 or 3 places that you're going to be using it. So the 40 done for you resources, I outlined all of that. Again, link in the description. Go grab that. But I'm going to tell you how you can get those shorts in one click. Like literally one click. If you sit down and if you pre-film your messages, then there are resources out there now, especially AI powered, that can help deliver for you, done for you, and take away some of the editing headache that we're going to have. And so what you need to know is that while we're doing these reels, I want to help show for you right here, right now, the viral framework. Okay, so there's kind of like 5 different things that are important when it comes to a viral reel. So you got to think on social media, what you're always trying to do is you're always trying to get people's attention. So you got to be mastering the stop the scroll. That's the goal. Is you got to get people to stop swiping through, because they're swiping through at a quick rate. They're deciding in 1 second or less if your video is worth it. So if you take a big breath, hey everyone, boom, they're scrolling past that. Right? You got to like dive right into the video, and just editing can take care of that, because you can take your big breath in the room, or you can take your big breath as you deliver on camera. Hey everyone, but clip right there to the hey everyone, or better yet, not, hey everyone, tonight we're going to talk about, does God really love me? Why don't you just go to, does God really love me? You see how that's a much better stop the scroll, a much better hook? The other thing is if you are clipping little snippets and segments out of a full 10, 15, 20-minute long form video, you're going to be dropping people into the middle of a video that already has context around it. So create a moment for context on the screen. Fly in a text that says that gives them context for what you're talking about. Discovering God's ridiculous love for people. Unleashing the power of the Holy Spirit in your life. Helping make an impact in your life. Becoming liked and loved by those around you. You know what I'm saying? Like having that in there so that that's going to pique interest and curiosity. And then as you're actual talking to the camera, that context is there just literally on screen. You can go right over your head. You can go right down here. Like, I mean, if you're watching this on Shorts right now, you're probably seeing text kind of all over the place. That's going to help the viewer know what's going on. You're going to help them understand the context of the message and where you were, and then now where you're going to be taking them. The other thing, the must-do thing on social media right now, especially short-form vertical-based video, if you ignore all the other things I'm telling you, do this thing: caption your video. Captions are amazing. Everything now on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts, all the text, both in the captions, like the actual captions of the post, as well as the text captions on the screen, all of that is being indexed in search for search engine optimization, so that the people that can search things, they may stumble across your video if you have the captions on screen. There's also a wide percentage of people who are in positions sometimes where they are watching reels without sound. If you don't have captions, you miss out on that entire audience of people who are trying to watch it. Imagine if like a teenager opens up their phone to watch you and you at school, but you don't have captions on it. Boom, they're going to keep moving. If you do, you at least give them that option. Now, do I recommend that teenagers watch reels and shorts on their phone at school? No, not at all. But I do recommend that you include captions on your videos. The other couple things is number 4, a relevant hook, something that's going to keep them. Again, remember they're making that decision in a second, 2 seconds on short form vertical based video. So try and craft out a good hook. Again, if you're clipping this from a message, you may have to find ways to add hook type things in your message as you're going that don't seem awkward and clunky, but that you're like weaving in naturally. But then you can go and find those spots and boom, clip, and then create this framework for a viral short form vertical based video. And finally, if you have the ability, if you can edit, sound effects. Those things change the game if people aren't paying attention. Plop, plop, like all kinds of different things where things are flying on the screen. The sound effects help drive people's attention back to the screen. I want to give you an example. The other day, I was watching a video that I had just edited. It's one of my favorite frameworks that we do. I detail and outline it in my 40 done for you resources. It's called drafts. Okay. And so what we'll do is we'll just draft anything. So I might be like, hey, let's draft Avengers. And so me and another person will just go back and forth. And so like my first pick obviously would be Thor. Who would your first pick be? Let me know in the comments down below. And then that person, you probably pick like Spider-Man or something. It's like, okay, great. I'm going to go back. I'm going to pick Captain America. Now, who's your second pick? Now, let me know in the comments below. You probably like, I don't know, like Black Widow. Great. That's fine. She doesn't have any superpowers, but she's amazing. My third pick is going to be the Hulk. Who's your third pick going to be? Probably Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. That makes sense. He's hilarious, but I wouldn't pick him. Now, I'm going to add Iron Man because you left him off for so long, and you're like, okay, great. I'll take Wanda Maximoff. She's super powerful. That's great. I'll take her husband, Vision, who's dead in WandaVision, and he's also super powerful. And you're like, okay, I will take the OG. I can't even think of one right now. Maybe you'll take Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. And you got your team, I got my team. Now, whose team's better? Let us know in the comments down below. You do that live with the person. You have commentary sort of in between. You film it for 2-3 minutes. You clip it down to shave it for time. You go shorter as much as you can. Anyway, I did a draft. I was rewatching it on my phone. My kids were around me. They were watching TV. And then I saw a Mr. Beast video that had an interesting thumbnail, and it was a short, and I clicked on it, and he said,
This is pufferfish, the most poisonous fish in the world.
I'm going to eat it. And as soon as he said that, my son across the room goes, wait, what? Gets up, comes over to my phone. And I just wanted to highlight, like, I think our hooks for our student ministry social media are good. But I played that video where it's like an AI generated voice that says drafting Avengers. And then we start going back and forth. He didn't care. Mr. Beast gives his hook, boom, he's instantly hooked. Mr. Beast has years and years of experience and has absolutely crushed the game in doing this. And so I'm not trying to say that I'm some sort of like Mr. Beast knockoff or anything. I'm actually trying to point out that like Mr. Beast is amazing at this. And we can learn some things from him as far as crafting good hooks and stopping the scroll. But he does such an amazing job. And so watch what he does. Look at the amount of B-roll that he does, the amount of text he does, how quick he's moving things, how he's moving people's attention along so that they don't get bored by his video. And so, and how he's grabbing their attention, how he's literally grabbing their attention from across the room to get them to come up and over and watch his video. Now, you and I, we're not in there to make money. You and I, we're in there to share the message of hope of Jesus, which is meaningful, impactful, and powerful and worth it. And so I think you and I can hone in on this skill, but I'm going to give you one surefire way in the next section that you can just do this in one click. It's going to change the game. Let's check it out. So one of the ways in which we do this, we craft this viral framework, is we need an editor, okay? You don't have to edit, but if you edit, your videos will be better. It's just the way it is. So I'm going to give you three tools, three kind of options to explore. The first one is CapCut. CapCut is a free editor owned by TikTok. They have a mobile device or a mobile app for your device. And then they also have a web-based browser that you can use on just like a computer. So you would import your video into CapCut and you would use that to start editing it. You can edit it in its long form version if you want to do that. And you can also edit it for vertical based video, so 9:16. Okay. Additionally, it's going to have a little bit of a learning curve, but has a ton of free resources on there. Text editors, sound effects, transitions, like things that are like super next level. CapCut has done an amazing job, and they made it really, really easy and really, really accessible. The second option is one that is going to require a little bit of a higher learning curve. I mentioned it earlier, but my complete crash course on Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Photoshop, it's a 3-part playlist that will help walk you through how to edit a long form video, how to edit a short form vertical based video, and then how to create graphics using Adobe Photoshop, and then how to kind of put all of that together. It's worth it. It's expensive. I think for churches, it's something like $34 per month for 2 users using the Adobe Creative Cloud. But that's going to get you access to Adobe Premiere, Adobe Photoshop, After Effects, InDesign, Adobe Audition, like all the things that you could possibly need in the Creative Cloud is available for you under the Creative Cloud umbrella for that cost. It's hefty. It's a big jump. But this next one is free, completely free, at least for a trial version. And I have the link down below in the show notes. It is called opus.pro. And here's what you do. You film your long form video and then you upload it into Opus Pro. And then it takes it takes a minute to upload, and then it takes a minute for it to analyze it. But you can upload it and then click submit and then walk away. And then you'll get an email when it tells you that it's ready to go. So you don't have to sit there and kind of babysit it anymore. And then it'll give you 10 to 14 viral videos with captions on screen and graphics, as well as the option for an intro context, sort of like hook type thing. And it will do it all for free up until you use out all of your credits. And then I just bought Opus Pro at my church for like $119 for a year worth of content, which is pennies on the dollar. And so if you don't want to use it, it has a watermark. The watermark looks like this. So you can make that decision if you want that or not. But if you pre-film your messages And if you take my 40 done for you ideas and fill in things like drafts and some of the other ideas I have for you, and you use Opus.pro, then you can filter in the rest of your content on your social media calendar if you want to do 5, 10, 14 different posts on your social media throughout the week, 1 or 2, maybe even 3 if you want to be super aggressive, but I recommend 1 or 2 posts per day, video based on all the platforms, and Opus will help fill that in. In fact, if you get 14 from Opus, you can do all teaching clips, right? 2 a day, every single day, all the way throughout your week. I detail and outline how to kind of do all that in my ebook, but Opus is an amazing free resource. Like I said, link down below in the show notes to help you fill that strategy out. And best thing of all is it does almost all of the things that we had talked about for creating a viral clip on social media. And here's why this matters: because students matter. And people matter to Jesus, and they are spending an exorbitant amount of time on social media. And there's a lot of bad things out there, but there's also the opportunity to redeem it for good, which is why I believe that every youth ministry needs a strong social media and digital presence. And that video is going to be linked right here on the screen. Make sure that you check that out. We're making digital discipleship easy and accessible. Don't forget, and as always, to stay hybrid.